What's going on, everybody? It's Merc, and we are back with some more Draft League content, and this is ICBA Week 2. So, following last week, we had a 4-0 victory against Deebs, so make sure to go check that out. It was a nice game, got a nice Manaphy sweep, and our Week 2 opponent is Tesla Mouse, coach of the Houston Raichus. This is a guy that I've known about for a long time. Well, I've heard the name for a long time, but I've never actually battled him, so this should be exciting. I don't know a whole ton about him as a player. He's kind of an enigma to me, so I wasn't really able to scout him too heavily and see what kind of team he would bring. So I decided to just prep for everything as well as I could and go with the things that beat his team and not really the things that beat his playstyle. Because it's kind of hard to read these people, especially when they don't upload team builders like him and Deebs. Anyways, that's just a little side rant. His team, extremely scary. He has Protean Greninja with the Z move, and this is not XY Greninja. This is not Torrent Greninja. This is unrestricted Protean, so it gets to go for stuff like Protean Low Kick and Gunk Shot, which is scary. It's very, very scary. Then he's got Excadrill, which, funnily enough, is his only rocker, and well, no, he's got many ways to get rid of hazards, but his only rocker, which is really important for me. Then he has Latios, a Z-move user, Sylveon, Galvantula, Hitmontop, Zoroark Z, Rotom-Mow, Vaporeon, Typhlosion, and Quagsire. So, he's got a lot of Volt-turny options. He has the sticky webs. Not going to be surprised that the webs are here, especially since people are really afraid of Scolipede passing into like Manaphy, so they want to try and control my speed as best they can, which is fine by me because, spoilers, I'm not bringing that set. Yeah, like I said, the Greninja is a very big threat. Latios can be a pretty big threat to me as well. I don't really want to see the Zoroark on my screen. It's going to be annoying, though I can't deal with it with my team. Excadrill can be annoying, but I do have ways to deal with it. And he's got 2 Wishmons, which will definitely be annoying if he plays it correctly, but his team is fairly frail, and it doesn't appreciate wishes too much. However, the team that I did bring has the potential to give up some momentum. As you can see. So let's just hop into the builder, and the 6 I ended up bringing were Diancie, Alomomola, Scolipede, Serena, Deoxyspeed, and Snorlax. So let's just hop back into the builder very quickly, and if you look at his team, he has nothing that resists the combination of Fairy and Ground. He has no he has no normal immunities, and he does not have anything that takes Scolipede's Dual Stab. So you can kind of guess how I'm going to be playing this, basically. Dual Stab plus Earthquake for the Excadrill. So first off, we have a Diancie with lefties, Calm Mind, Trick Room, Moonblast, Earth Power, Max HP, 36 Defense, and 220 Special Attack, Quiet Nature. So Calm Mind, Trick Room, Diancie is a very big threat to his team. If he brings a very offensive team, and his team is whittled, I can potentially sweep by setting up a Trick Room and then just killing everything with Moonblast Earth Power. He doesn't have a good switch into that once things are weakened. Like, obviously, Vaporeon and Sylveon can tank the hit, but they can't do a whole ton back to me, and if I get rid of those, then he doesn't have anything that takes it on. And with Calm Mind, I can set up against those and really put the pressure on them, especially if I can weaken them with my other mons. So, with 220 special attack, I have enough to OHKO an Excadrill if he is running like 60 HP EVs, which would be him speed creeping my Blaziken. So that's a thing. Just decided that have a little extra defense would be nice so that I could take hits a teeny little bit better. Calm Mind, just very nice, and Moonblast is a pretty good spammable move, and Trick Room is definitely a good way to counteract some of his speedier options like Sticky Webs and the Galvantula and Latios, and especially Greninja, because Greninja is very spooky. I can't switch into it, but it definitely puts on a ton of pressure against me. So that's Diancie. The next thing, we've got Dixazo, Alomomola, rocking the Rindo Berry with Regenerator, Wish, Toxic Scald, Protect, Max HP 44, or I actually changed the spread before the game started, because thanks to the help of my lovely coach, lovely front office. So I'm running this instead of this, which actually kind of accomplishes sort of the same thing, but now I take physical hits even worse. But basically this is a guaranteed switch in to the Greninja. 2 Life Orb Grass Knots do not knock me out after its Stealth Rock. I can take a Z Grass Knot into a Grass Knot, I believe. Maybe? But this thing is an overall pretty good switch into it. Since I'm so specially defensive, I can sponge hits from the Latios. I can even take a hit from Galvantula. And just like, it's a good thing. It passes wishes. Diancie really appreciates it. And so will a few other members on my team. So, kind of passive, it can alleviate some momentum. So I definitely want to get some hazards up early if I can. And speaking of hazards, I do not have them on my Scolipede, because like I said earlier, offensive Scolipede absolutely runs over his team, and you are seeing this right. I accidentally put Poison Point. I did not notice that, so going into the game, I will have a Poison Point Scolipede instead of a Speed Boost one. I meant to have Speed Boost, but I don't have it, so that created a little hilarity in the match, as you'll see in a bit. But even without the Speed Boost, Scolipede is an enormous threat to his team, because with base 112 speed, we outspeed a whole lot of things. We're outspeeding max speed Latios, and he has no resist to EQ Poison Jab Mega Horn, and with the Life Orb boost, it hurts a lot. He doesn't have a switch into this aside from like Fizdef Hitmontop and maybe like Fizdef Quag or Vaporeon. So this thing, overall, huge threat to his team, even though I messed up and don't have Speed Boost, so I can't like outspeed Scarfers and deal with the webs better and outspeed Gren. It's still gonna be a good thing to just do the damage against his team, so that my other, so that stuff like, oh, go away, stupid pop-ups, stuff like my Diancie can win late game with Trick Room. At this point, looking very weak to Excadrill, since my Alomomola is especially defensive, it's not taking EQs very well, so I decided to bring Serena, also for Rapid Spin, because I really didn't want Sticky Webs up against me, because I figured he would be bringing them, and this thing had a pretty good defensive matchup. So I'm bringing Max Defense Serena with Lefty's Queenly Majesty. It's not going to really come into play in this game since he doesn't have a lot of priority, really. Rapid Spin, Trop Kick, Synth, and U-Turn, just max Fizz Def so I can take hits from the drill. This is mainly here for the Excadrill, and that's about it. If he's like Gunk Shot Greninja, I could potentially take a hit. I didn't run a calc, but I was like, maybe it might be able to do the thing. But this can switch into his physical attackers, which is very, very nice. Alleviate some pressure from Alomomola, and it's just a nice thing, grab me a little momentum, keep hazards off the field, and Trop Kick's nice to pressure things and lower attacks so that I can potentially set up with my other mons. So yeah. And next thing is Geo, the Deoxys. I really couldn't figure out what kind of spread I wanted, so I decided that I just want to dual hazards and then we can add some offense to it. So we have Psychium Z with Psycho Boost, Spike, Stealth Rock, and Signal Beam, modest max special attack and max speed. The speed is there to guarantee outspeed Scarf Excadrill. Originally I had like max HP, but then I was like, oh, I want to outspeed Scarf Rotom. I was like, oh yeah, and then I also want to outspeed Scarf Excadrill if he brought those. So forced to bring max speed. Having max HP would have been nice for a few things, but overall, Dio's here to put a little pressure on his team because Z Psycho Boost into another Psycho Boost basically just cops a kill on his team. Signal Beam is there for some nice neutral coverage to let me hit stuff like the Zoroark and the Latios mainly for super effective damage because those things are drinking Psycho Boost. So Z Psycho Boost into another Psycho Boost just does a ton against him. It doesn't 2-hit KO the drill, I don't believe, but it can potentially, but it just does a lot of damage to everything on his team, which is nice, so that I can pressure him from spinning or something of the sort, which is cool. And yeah, this is kind of a weird set, not super sold on it, but it's just kind of here for a little bit of pressure and mainly to get up hazards for me. And finally, probably the biggest win condition, he doesn't have a ghost type and he doesn't have a strong fighting type, so Snorlax, Curselax, huge threat to his team. Just running yield standard 4 moves for Curselax, Curse, Body Slam, Sleep Talk, 188 HP, 204 defense, and 116 speed def. All these EVs were here for a purpose, and I don't remember exactly what they were for. I know I can take some low kicks from the Greninja, and I can take like all kinds of hits from the Sylveon and the Latios and those kind of dudes. Like Draco Meteors bounce off this thing, so more alleviated pressure from the Aloe. and that sort of thing, but mainly it's here to set up curses and win, because if I get rid of the Vaporeon or the Quagsire, which are like his only ways to deal with this, aside from low kick Gren, which I'm pretty sure is going to come, then this thing just runs over his team, because his fighting type is Hitmontop, and after I curse up, then it can't really beat me all too much, unless he gets very lucky. So yeah, that's the team, and we will get into the battle. Alright, and so the 6 that Tesla decided to bring were Galvantula, Greninja, Latios, Vaporeon, Excadrill, and Sylveon. This is more or less what I expected to see. I wouldn't have been surprised if I saw stuff like the Rotom-Mow or the Zoroark or Hitmontop or any of those guys coming in, but more or less what I expected to see, which is perfectly fine with me. I see Galvantula, so I'm pretty confident that he's just going to want to lead with that so that he can get his webs up, and my idea right off the bat is to just go and lead Diancie and put some pressure on him and see if I can punish the web sleep, because Diancie really does put some pressure on his team. His switch-ins are going to be one of his evolutions, and Excadrill does not appreciate an Earth Power, and since I'm Calm Mind, I should be able to deal with either of the EVs, especially since I have Wish Aloe in the back. So looking at the matchup, obviously Snorlax is a huge threat. Trick Room Diancie late, if I can weaken or get rid of the 2 EVs, is basically just going to win the game. And Hazards could be nice, definitely glad, yes that is a word, I brought Serena so that I can spin. It can wall the Excadrill, which is good for me, and yeah, and I still didn't realize at this point that I didn't have spikes on my Scolipede, so, or not spikes, speed boost. Anyways, let's go ahead and hop into the match real quick. Also, it's worth mentioning that this was a fairly long game, so I'm going to speed up a fair bit and try and alleviate this being an overly long video. Anyways, I lead with Diancie, as he does lead off with the Galvantula, and this is perfectly fine with me. I'm just going to call mine turn 1, because I figured he'd just go for the Sticky Web. He goes for the Giga Drain, however, which is fine. That really doesn't do a lot of damage. I go for the Calm Mind, I'm going to get some lefties back, and I really don't think that he's going to go for another one. If he does, it's not going to do much damage at all. He actually goes for the Volt Switch right here, and I waffled going between Moonblast or Earth Power, but I figured Moonblast is overall my best play, because in the case he didn't go Excadrill, which as you see didn't, Moonblast is going to do the most damage. So I fired off on the Vaporeon, so that shows me he's more of a Spadef Vap. And I get the special attack drop, which is nice, so if he goes, so I can really 1v1 this thing if it doesn't have Roar. However, since he's going to move after me, that does tell me he is Roar, as he's going to do that again. So I get the Vap weakened a lot, however, unfortunately, I get sent out into my Aloe, which cannot really pressure this thing too much aside from Toxicking it, so he's going to be able to throw a Wish in the air, which isn't great because I worked hard to weaken it, but I am going to be able to get the Toxic off. And in the case that he's not Heal Bell on this, I didn't think he'd be Heal Bell with Roar. If he's not Heal Bell Sylveon, then I'm in a pretty nice spot. However, I'm just going to Hard Switch into my Serena, expecting the Protect. But he's actually going to Hard Switch out into Latios, which is great for me, because that means his Vaporeon is basically dead, and that was his best way to make sure that Snorlax didn't diddle him. I'm going to Hard Switch into my Aloe, as that Draco Meteor does a chunk, and now he's going to go for the Z move. I could see it's Bloom Doom, because I kind of know what the animation looks like, and because of my Rindo Berry, I will be able to take this hit. Wasn't exactly expecting the Z move. I kind of thought he might be Scarfed, just because he'd want to Scarf her, but Bloom Doom is not going to be doing very much since he's at -2, and I'm just going to be able to throw a Wish in the air, and that's all hunky-dory. So I know he's probably not going to stay in, but I just decided to make the safe play and go for the Protect, which is okay because I can deal with this Galvantula sort of alright. I have my Snorlax, which switches in. And I'm just going to go hard into it, as he is going to go for the Sticky Web, showing that he does have it. So we've seen Giga Drain, Sticky Web, and Volt Switch, making me believe that his last move is Bug Buzz, otherwise he couldn't hit Deoxys or Serena. So that's cool. He's going to go hard into his Greninja as I just fire off a Curse, and this basically tells me he is Low Kick, and I ran a quick calc, and if he's like Max Attack Life Orb, he can't knock me out with a Low Kick, so I'm just going to take the opportunity to get a big chunk off of this Gren, and he's going to go for the low kick. Shows he's max attack, but he's not a boosting item, as I'm just going to body slam and do a ton of damage. I don't get the parry or anything, that would have been nice. And no, I didn't bother running the calc, but it turned out after the match that this thing was Choice Scarf, which you'll see is kind of obvious in how he's going to play it throughout the match. He goes for low kick again, as I see it's physical, so I'm pretty sure that my Aloe can just kind of switch in easily. And he's going to hard switch out, as I'm going to go for the Toxic, either predicting him to stay in, or go into something like this thing, or the Latios, to try and take advantage of me. And at the range I'm at right here, I should be able to take any hit that's not Thunder. And he goes for the Volt Switch, and I reason that he's probably not going to be Thunder, because then he wouldn't be able to hit my Serena. So yeah, I figured he was that, and I knew I could take a Volt Switch since I'm like fully specially defensive, and what I can do is fire off a Wish and get something healthy again. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw the Wish in the air, and I'm not too inclined to stay in right here. I'm going to go hard into my Serena, I believe. No, I'm going to go into my Scolipede, as he's going to go into his Greninja, which I'm not sure what his rationale for that play is, but it's going to work because I don't want to just die to like an extra sensory and HP fire. But so I'm going to hard switch into this, but he shows these waterfall, so at this point I know, okay, he is fully off, or he's fully physical, and that waterfall wouldn't have even killed me. And he's going to hard switch out now and go back into the Sylveon, as I'm just going to fire off Wish yet again. And I believe this time, just in case he specs, I don't want to lose my Scolipede to a Psyshock, so I'm going to go into my Serena's mid-ground so that I can Rapid Spin, but he is going to show Heal Bell, so that shows me he's defensive, and Serena can take hits from defensive Sylveon pretty easily. Hyper Voice doesn't do it KO me. He's going to go into the Galvantula now, as I go for the Rapid Spin. Just getting rid of webs is very nice, so now Scolipede is back in. So I'm going to go hard into it, because I know he's not going to go for the electric move right here. As he goes for the Bug Buzz, he gets a crit, which does a lot of damage, unfortunately, and I'm just going to go for the Mega Horn and knock this thing out. And this is when I realize, oh, I don't have Speed Boost on my Scolipede. I go into my summary, well, I have the dude, the Speed Boost. So that was really dumb on my part. Scolipede would have just rampaged his team at this point because it was weakened. But he's going to go for the U-turn right here, as he's now going to go into the Excadrill. I don't really want to take an Earthquake at this point. I could have, but I didn't want to, and I do have my Serena, which just kind of switches in. And he goes for the Swords Dance. I'm like, oh, that's spooky. I should be able to take like a Poison Jab or an X's or whatever and get off a U-turn so I can get into my Scolipede. But he goes for the EQ, which is a little weird, because I'd imagine he'd at least have Iron Head to hit me with, but that's totally fine with me, because I can U-turn on out and go into my Scolipede and basically get another kill, because Earthquake into something else just kills something. He's going to go into the Sylveon, I guess is a middle ground, because I wasn't going for a poison move right there. And now I'm pretty free to just go for Zip Poison move for the Poison Jab and just kind of get a kill. At this point, he's going to go for the Protect, and I thought that he might try and play some mind games between going back and forth between like this and Excadrill. But as you're going to see in a second, he's just going to sack off his Vaporeon, gets a little bit of HP back from lefties, and now Vaporeon is going to go down to the P-Jab, so that's good. That now he cannot possibly phase out my Snorlax once I start cursing, and again. But now he just goes into this, and I'm going to go for Protect, because at this point I have a hunch that he could be Scarfed, especially since he showed U-turn and he didn't go for it against my Aloe earlier in the game. So I'm just going to switch out. I want to keep this thing so I have a way to revenge the Excadrill and the Latios, and I have Aloe, which just chews the hit pretty nicely. So U-turn, it does a little chunk, but you know, Aloe doesn't really care, and he just goes back into the Latios, which is very spook. But I can take any hit and just toss a Wish in the air so that I can heal my Snorlax, which can better switch into this thingy. So yeah, E-Ball bounces, doesn't do a ton. Draco Meteor I don't believe would have knocked me out either, since it's only slightly stronger than Energy Ball. And the Draco Meteor is going to come in, it's not going to be able to knock out my Lax, and I'm going to be able to get Wished up above half, and since he's at -2, I can easily take any hit. And right here, I am just going to click... no, I'm going to double out, I believe, right here. Yeah, I'm going to switch out because I didn't feel comfortable setting up, and I wanted to go into my Deoxys to try and put on some pressure. And I don't love this matchup, but I figured, let's just go for the Psyche MZ. and get a big chunk off this Excadrill so it can't be that. So I can like at least knock it out with a second Psycho Boost or with like a Scald from my Aloe. So I'm going to go for this really cool animation, and that does a chunk to this thing as he goes to EQ. I was pretty confident I could live. If I didn't, oh well. And yeah, that did a lot. That doesn't kill me. And I'm just going to fire off a Psycho Boost to try and take it out. But he is going to go into the Sylveon now. Interested, he didn't go for that before, not considering that I could have like a fighting move or something. I don't know. No, obviously I didn't have it, but his Excadrill could have just died. But I'm going to go for the Spike now, because like, he's just going to go for the Wish, and I figured he would. And that's totally fine with me. And here I really didn't want him to get health back on Greninja, so I'm going to go for the Signal Beam, see if I could get the clever little kill. But he's going to go into the Drill, and it's going to get some health back as Signal Beam doesn't do anything. However, I do get the Confusion, which is nice, because Confusion can confuse things. I'm going to go hard into my Serena because he can't 2-hit KO me with anything, since he showed his only move to hit me with is the EQ. And he's going to get hit in Confusion, which is great for me, because he feels obligated to Rapid Spin. As you're going to see, he's going to snap at and go for it right here. And I'm just going to take the opportunity to click Drop Kick and kill this thing, which is great. His better play probably would have been to go out into Latios and not let his Driller die, but hey, we take those. So now at this point his Drill is gone, and it is 6 vs 3. I wasn't even considering the fact that I still had 6 Mons. I wasn't thinking about it, I just wanted to get the win, so I'm going to U-turn and go into my Snorlax right here. And he's going to go for the Hyper Voice, and seeing that he went hard into Greninja last time trying to prevent my setup, and him knowing that I can easily curse up against this, I'm going to just click Body Slam, knowing that his only way to potentially save this game is if he catches me trying to set up too much. So I'm going to go for the Body Slam, predicting that, and I do catch the Greninja, and this basically just means the game is over, because Snorlax cannot die to anything that he has left. So I'm going to speed up a little more, and basically the rest of this game is Snorlax doing the thing. Draco Meteor does a lot, but the beauty of Draco when you're facing it is that it does half every time you go for it, and it wasn't doing that much from the start. So he's going to go for Draco Meteor. At this point, crit Draco into like -2 or 4 would not kill me, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to Sleep Talk the rest, because why would I get anything else? And he's going to fire for Draco, and basically I'm just kind of hoping don't crit me, even though I'm pretty confident that I can take any. I'm going to roll rest again, because why would you ever get the other 2 moves? And he's going to miss a Draco there as I go for the Curse. Missing Draco doesn't matter, because the only way that it would matter is if he crit me, and that's less likely than him missing a Draco. Yeah, so I'm going to just Curse once and then Body Slam so I can 2-hit KO this thing. Draco Meteors are doing absolutely nothing to me since it's a -6. It's practically healing me, and I'm going to be able to knock this thing out. And all he has left is a Sylveon, and Sylveon can't beat me since it's defensive, and this is a Curselax. So he Hyper Voices, that tickles. That was a crit and it didn't do anything. And Body Slam is going to be able to KO him. He succeeds, not going for Wish or anything, because he knows that the Sylveon can't win. And that's going to be the game, and we are going to pick up a 6-0 victory, which is like super cool, because we take those. Definitely an interesting game. I didn't feel like I played spectacularly in this, but I definitely had a great matchup. I had 3 things that just dominated his team, and they all did pretty decent work. And aside from that, not too much else to say. Make sure to go check out Tesla. I'll leave his links in the description. And we are 2-0 plus 10 through 2 weeks. So that's really great for me. Definitely glad to start padding the differential early, because I have Leo in my division, and he's going to be tough company. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, drop a like, leave a comment, do that sort of thing, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.